And I know you don't usually think offense when you think Panthers, but with the season that Stephen Davis is having with 7 rushing touchdowns and Steve Smith and 7 receiving touchdowns, you better start thinking that way.
And that's because they have a faster linebacker in there that can cover more ground. And like we said in the open, it really all starts up front in the middle to even add to those totals.
They need the 42-yard line for the first. Quick pass, Steve Smith's first grab of the day, and he gets away. His second effort takes him out to midfield, but it's a first down for the Panthers. 13 yards.
And that's the matchup today to watch. Fred Smoot against Steve Smith. Smoot's got the hat. Here's Steve Smith right here in the slot. He's just going to run a quick slant out of that slot, and you see Fred Smoot just giving him way too much cushion. Smoot told us he was going to be very physical with Steve Smith, and on that play, he just let Smith run.
He's had in his brief NFL career. Under pressure, Delhomme. Caught by Steve Smith. Down inside the 10-yard line. 30 yards on the reception.
Steve Smith is winning. Just lined up in the slot right here. He pushes him to the inside, but now he's going to break outside. And you see Smoot's head. He's looking back at the quarterback and the ball, and Steve Smith is running away from him, and he's got no chance. When you're playing man-to-man coverage, and especially if the guy's got a step on you, you've got to drive to the receiver and then look for the ball. Now we've got a flag down here with Smoot and Steve Smith. I don't know who they're going to get for what, but those two guys are battling. They're both talkers. They both like to talk, and they're getting in each other's faces.
Hands to the face. Number 27, defense. 5-yard penalty at the end of the run. First down.
Well, it's not a good start for Fred Smoot. He gets called for the penalty. He's been beaten a couple of times by Smith.
Yeah, he has. And really, the hat is on him today. If they're going to be successful with the type of defense that they're running, he's got to win that matchup. And right now, obviously, he's not winning that matchup. Steve Smith has caught a couple balls on him, just drew the penalty. And that's really what's killing this Vikings team all year is penalties. But Smoot has got to step up to the challenge.
They'll tack on the penalty yardage. Ball will be at the 44 of Minnesota. Needing the 34. One-handed. Steve Smith made the catch, but he didn't get enough yards for the first as Fred Smoot stops him about 3 yards short.
I tell you, Steve Smith is developing into one of the best wide receivers in the league, and it's really his attitude. And here again, you're going to see him matched up one-on-one with Fred Smoot, man coverage. Smoot's grabbing him and everything, pulling the jersey, and Steve Smith just one-hands that ball. But really, his mentality is more like a defensive player. He's aggressive. He doesn't mind contact. He's going to go after you just as much as you're going to go after him.
As far as the running backs just keep going down for the Packers. Here's Delhomme, quick pass, bounces off Gardner, and they draw a flag on Fred Smoot, who was there on the coverage.
Fred Smoot's arguing that call, but it's a good call. Here's Fred Smoot. He's just going to drive on Gardner right before the ball gets there, right there. He makes contact before the ball gets there.
There's no foul on the play. Both players were playing the ball. Incomplete pass.
Wow, they decided to pick up the flag.
Wow.
Maybe Smoot should become a lawyer.
Yeah, now that's the first time I've seen that. As many calls as I've argued in my day and not gotten them changed, but you can see Smoot is going to play the man right there. He hits him right before the ball gets there. And actually, Gardner probably should have still caught the ball. But you don't see them overturn those pass interference calls very often.
No, you don't. Not often. Tried never. I don't remember ever seeing that. No pressure whatsoever as Delhomme goes deep for Steve Smith, and he makes the over-the-shoulder catch. Smith falls forward down at the 1-yard line. 69 yards, and he beat Fred Smoot all the way.
Well, the Vikings are going to have to change their defensive plan. They're going to have to get Smoot off of Steve Smith or give that guy some help. This is just a basic go route, and Fred Smoot doesn't play the ball well. He's looking back at the ball, and Steve Smith is steadily separating from him and catches the ball and almost fights his way into the end zone. Costume-generated muscles or weight room-generated muscle.
You know which one the player will always say. Here's Jake Delhomme. Too far for Steve Smith. Late flag comes flying in. Fred Smoot on the coverage once again.
Fred Smoot said he was looking forward to this challenge, and one thing you know is when you're covering the go-to guy, you're going to get a chance to make some plays too. He hadn't made a play yet. You can either be the hero or the GOAT. Here's Smoot again, just right here. He's got his hands on him right there. See Darren Sharper coming in late. Didn't see if Sharper hit anybody, but they might have still gotten Smoot for having that right hand on after 5 yards.
And so far, Fred Smoot has had little, if any, success trying to stop Steve Smith.
And he said he wasn't going to back off of Steve, but now look at the cushion.
And they give it right to Smith. And Smoot wraps him up, and they get a flag and maybe a face mask here. We have 2 flags down on the field.
Smoot again pleading his case. And when it goes like that, and I've been in that situation before, it's not a good feeling. And it affects you mentally, and now all of a sudden you're giving the guy a lot of room like we just saw in the last play. And when you do that, now they're just going to dump it off to Steve Smith and get as many yards as he can. And then he gets another penalty on Fred Smoot. This has probably been the worst half of Smoot's life.
There are offsetting fouls on the play. 2 face mask penalties. 89 offense, 27 defense. Those penalties offset. Replay.
So Smoot called for a face mask on Smith, who was called for a face mask on Smoot.
And again, as we see it here, there's the one on Steve Smith and the one on Smoot. I'll go with that. That's a good call. But in Smoot's mind, it is still a penalty on him. And he's still been beaten, got beat for a long pass, has been beaten on short passes. He's gotten some penalties, and it affects you. You're supposed to forget about the last play and move on to the next one. But when it's going like that, you can't forget about it.
Well, JC, you said Fred Smoot may feel like this is the toughest half of his career. It certainly feels like the longest, I'd bet.
Yeah, no question, and the worst. He's been chasing Steve Smith all over the field and hasn't made a play. Steve Smith has made play after play. Smoot's gotten penalties. He's been beaten on passes, and he's a talker. And when you're playing like that and you're getting beat, there's absolutely nothing you can say to the other guy. And the big problem is he's playing against a guy that will talk all day long too. So not only is he beating Smoot, he's in Smoot's ear and in his face every play.
We'll definitely let him know it.
And Smoot told us when we met with him yesterday that he knew that they were going to test him deep a couple of times and try to get him to back off of Steve Smith, and he said, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to still be right in his face. But on the last couple of plays, he's done it. He's been 10 yards off of Steve Smith, and that's what a tough half will do for you.
Well, he's had to do it. I mean, Smith has had a 69-yard catch and a 30-yard pass as well, so they've gotten a couple of big plays.
And now he's off again. Look at the amount of cushion that he's given Steve Smith. Just keep their poise.
Delhomme off the play fake. Steve Smith. And the catch and run by Smith takes it down to the 29. We get another flag in the middle of the field.
And this can't be offsetting. Where they threw that flag, it has to be on the Vikings.
There's no defensive holding. The ball was released. Pass is completed. First down.
Yeah, we see another flag picked up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How about that? But anyway, Steve Smith just going to run that crossing. Now they're playing zone. He just runs under the zone and gets up the field. Smoot playing that cover 2 zone, but nobody picks up Steve Smith on the other side of the field. What a half for Steve Smith. 5 catches, 134 yards. We said he was explosive. Everyone knew he was explosive. And here he is again.
Catch number 6.
Now he is in Fred Smoot's head. Fred Smoot doesn't want any part of Steve Smith at this point. He's backing off. He's afraid to get beat deep now. Now they're throwing the ball short to Steve Smith, and it's a good job by the Panthers, taking what's there.
What do you do then if you think that Fred Smoot's your best cover corner and he's being beaten like this all day?
Well, you've got to give him some help. Double Steve Smith. Don't be so proud that you think we're not going to double a guy. Steve Smith is their main guy. send two guys after him. Make everybody else have to beat you. Now they're playing a lot of zone coverages, but guys aren't getting where they're supposed to be. That time Antoine Winfield should run to the flat. He's staying in the curl, looking at Jake Delhomme, while Ricky Prohl is wide open in the flat.
Jake Delhomme has found his rhythm. Here's Delhomme on second down. Zips it in. Steve Smith with the touchdown.
Fred Smoot saying right now, can we just get in the locker room? Can we end this half? Because it has to be the worst half of his life.
Keep going to their go-to guy, and it's paying dividends.
And you've got to give Smoot help. You got to get to the quarterback. There's no pressure on Jake Delhomme, and that's going to give him time. Watch Steve Smith. He's just going to come in, run that slant on Fred Smoot right there. Get his body right between Smoot and Jake Delhomme, and it's an easy throw and an easy catch. The best way to give Smoot some help is get some pressure on Jake Delhomme. And right now that defense is not, they're not covering in the back end. They're not getting pressure on the front side, and that's why they're down 24-0.
And Steve Smith's got 7 catches, 153 yards, and a touchdown. And heck, he can call it a half already, go get his rest, you know? That's what happens. You put up big numbers, you get to be the first guy out.
Yeah, you might as well go get a drink, do whatever you need to do. Your work in the first half is over. It's 3rd and long. This is the guy you better watch, Steve Smith. Fred Smoot still on him.
Looking for the 34. Here's pressure on Delhomme. Hit as he throws. And Smith one-hands that one. Wow.
When it's going well, it's going well. I mean, Steve Smith, he has him beat right off the line of scrimmage. Right here, he shakes him, and he's wanting the go route, but Jake Delhomme was throwing the comeback. They got mixed up, but Steve Smith stayed alive. Look at Smoot. He misses the jam early, and he's beaten, but look at Steve Smith. Never gives up on the ball, finds the ball, and just one-hands the ball. I tell you, that guy's having a tremendous game, and you see him talking. Now he's talking to Smoot again, getting in Smoot's ear.
They pick up 24 yards. Smith has 177 on the day. He's on adding to what he did in the first half.
You will see me again in about 15 to 20 minutes. Right here, watch.
Yeah, I don't know if he was talking to us or Fred Smoot. Because Fred Smoot has seen all he wants to see of Steve Smith. He's beating him deep. You see here, he's beating him short. He's beating him off the line of scrimmage. In the end zone, he's done everything he's wanted to do so far in this ball game.
They get it out to Smith again. He makes a move past Smoot. Gets out of bounds after picking up the first down, but there's another pass to Dave Smith, who's got 9 catches so far on the afternoon and has got 188 yards.
Well, now if you're the Vikings, you've got to make a change. Now with Smoot off, they're just going to throw the quick hitch outside. Smoot misses the tackle. You've got to give Smoot some help now. Steve Smith is killing him out there. He's their go-to guy. Let Smoot be physical with him at the line of scrimmage and play sharper over the top of him. Make Kerry Colbert, Ricky Prohl, those other guys beat you. You've got to make adjustments in this league, and right now Minnesota hasn't made an adjustment on Smith.
Steve Smith, a dominant performance today. 9 catches, 188 yards. That's a career high for him. You know the Vikings need to get a turnover somehow if they have any chance of getting back in this ball game. And they leave Steve Smith wide open. Jake Delhomme overthrew him, but there is a flag back in the secondary.
And it continues.
Yeah, maybe a defensive holding here as he was working once again.
Yeah, he ran
against Fred Smoot.
Yeah, he ran that out and up. And Fred Smoot was all over.
Holding. Defense. Number 27. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Here they are out here, Fred Smoot and Steve Smith. He's going to run that out route. Now he's going to turn it up, and you can see Fred Smoot, he has no idea even where the ball is. He just grabs Steve Smith right there, and he thinks he's running to the out route, and Steve is still going down the field. And you can look at that grin on Steve's face. That says it all right there. That tells you, I got him.
Oh, and he knows it.
Yeah.
You know, that's the best play Smoot has had against him all day, a defensive holding. He only picks up 5 yards on the penalty. there somewhere.
And he wouldn't give it to us.
Empty backfield. Delhomme under pressure. Erasmus James came and caused a fumble. Vikings have recovered, but there is a penalty flag down. This would be the first turnover of the ball game if it stands. But already the Panthers are pointing towards Minnesota.
Defense, number 27. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Fred Smoot.
Wow. You know, now I'm starting to feel bad for Fred Smoot. Being a former defensive back, you know, I don't know exactly how this day feels for him, but I've never been in that situation, but something similar to it, and it's tough. Even when the ball doesn't come your way. And here they are in the slot again. He's backing up and just hands to the face right there. That's what they got, the hands to the face. You see him, he's backing up, and whenever you get a guy in bump and run and his first moves are backwards, he's tentative and he's afraid to get beat. Normally when you're in bump and run, you want to go forward and get your hands on the guy, and right now Fred Smoot is just, he's confused. He doesn't know what to do out there. Catch that.
I think that gets him a senior discount at Denny's, doesn't it? There's Steve Smith again, and Smith with his 9th catch of the afternoon picks up the first down. Well, if there's a king for a day, it's Steve Smith.
Knew he was good, and he's either a lot better than the Vikings thought he was, or Fred Smoot is not as good as the Vikings thought that he was, because they wanted to match him up all day, and Steve Smith comes out and puts up a career high on him.
Catch number 11, dancing right past Smoot. And I'll tell you what, Fred Smoot can't do a whole lot right now. He fought and hung in there long enough to hold it to just a 5-yard reception, but that's about all he can do.
He can't tackle him, he can't cover him, and you know, just his whole body language right now is of a beaten guy. He's playing off again, so they just throw the ball out to Steve Smith, and Smoot tries to wrap him up, and Steve Smith breaks that tackle. Steve Smith is just a tough guy. Don't be fooled by how small he is and his size, and look at John Fox pointing at him, giving him congratulations, but he's a tough guy. One of the toughest wide receivers in the league, bar none. You know, I hate to keep beleaguering the point of Steve Smith and Fred Smoot, but even on the run game, Steve Smith is down there, he's blocking and not giving up on the play, and he blocks Fred Smoot. Now Fred's coming out of the game with the shoulder injury.
Injured shoulder, maybe some injured pride there as well.
To be honest with you, I'm not surprised that didn't happen earlier.